Everybody, Gonson on the cover. It is Sunday, September 16th, 2018. It's like around, it's 9:49 on my computer. There's a little story I found on that while I was just randomly searching for police stories. And it really is just an editorial somebody wrote, and I think it's worthy of everybody reading it. There's a lot of truth to it. And let me turn the camera around. And let's see if it goes. There it is. It says, the one thing that will get a cop fired. And I'll just read a little bit of it. And I'll put the link in the description box. It's already up on the Facebook page. And then you can click to it and go to it. And this is an article by a gentleman named... let's see what newspaper this is in. I think it's the Post. Yeah, it's in the Washington Post. Okay. And it's by a guy named Radley Balko, B-A-L-K-O. It was written on January 26, 2016. And it reads as follows in part. There aren't many things that can get a police officer fired. A history of incompetence and the reckless killing of a 12-year-old boy on video didn't do it. Choking a man to death in front of a crowd of onlookers on video didn't do it. But don't lose hope. There are still some offenses so heinous and wanton that even a police officer can't avoid consequences, namely insubordination. But not your garden variety of insubordination. Jay Park was a police officer who worked in Athens, Georgia, a college town built around University of Georgia between prayer, breakfast, and abstinence rallies. UGA students are known to occasionally imbibe small amounts of alcohol, presumably fixed with communion cups at the local seminary. So I'll just skip over a little few things here and tell you really what the story's about. It's about the town here, or the state, I'm not sure, you'll have to go back. Oh yeah, it's the state. It says, Georgia lawmakers have decided that it is more important to make sure that underage drinkers receive medical care than punishment. So under the law, any person who in good faith seeks medical assistance for someone who is experiencing an alcohol-related overdose shall not be arrested, charged, or prosecuted. You also can't arrest the person suffering the overdose. So what goes on here is there's an officer that is responsible call, and I believe maybe a sergeant or a superior officer was there. Before they take him to the hospital, they're going to arrest this kid that's drunk. He's underage and he's drunk. And the good cop says, I can't arrest him. It's against the law. We can't arrest him because he's called for help. And his superior says, you will arrest him. So a long story short on this, because this officer showed integrity, he was a good cop, and stood up to this, he got forced out of his job. I believe he got fired. And the chief told him that if you go try to get a job anywhere else, guess what? We're going to put the kibosh on that. So it turns out that this officer was correct in his understanding of the law, and that the higher-ups either willingly or unwillingly knew about it and then ignored the law. So the long story short on that, you know who paid the price. So let me scroll down the story here, because I want you to read it. So I'm not, and it's kind of lengthy. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you. And let me just get down to, see if I can find it. Here we go. In October, Park, who's the officer, settled with the department for $325,000. That settlement included a letter exonerating him of any wrongdoing, which will hopefully help him find another job. The money will come from Georgia taxpayers. Jimmy Williamson is still the chief of the University of Georgia Police Department, and just in a just world, Jay Park would have his job. And this is a good example of, you get a good cop who tries to do the right thing, and you have a police department that's being run by bad cops. And this bad cop forces the good cop out. How many times have we heard that story? Forced him out of his job. The guy couldn't get another job in law enforcement. He's working at a gas station, so the story says. And he wins a lawsuit. And it's pretty evident that the chief of police was a low-down blue zero turd. And the chief still got his job. It should be the other way around. The chief should have lost his damn job. And this good cop should have been promoted. But this is how it works, folks. And this is why I keep beating this drum. We have to support these good police, because even though I firmly believe they outnumber these bad turds, these blue zero hero turds, there's nothing they can do, because the bad ones are the ones that are in charge. And we got to get these bad ones out. This is causing all the problems. It's the old story, one bad apple ruins the whole bunch. And it's not that they're infecting the other apples. It's just that the good apples can't do anything. You can't get to, they're stifled. They got to protect their pension and their security. And I don't blame them one bit. If I was in a position, I would do the same thing too. You got a house, you got a family, you got to protect your well-being. And unfortunately, they have to turn their back and not say anything unless it's so egregious that they have to say something. But this is just another good example of a good cop who said, you can't arrest this guy. Georgia law doesn't allow for it. And the chief says, arrest him. And then the guy gets fired from his job. And he tries to get another job. And the chief of police puts a kibosh on it. And the guy has to sue the department. He gets the $325,000 settlement, thanks to the taxpayers. And he's on with his life. In the meanwhile, this dirtbag chief of police, Jay Park, his name is. Oh, no, excuse me. And just Jay Park is the victim. This turd of a police chief is still got his job. He's going to get his pension. And it's not going to affect him, the $325,000 that the taxpayers paid out. All right, I will put the link in the description box. You can also find it. It's already there on the Facebook page. I encourage everybody to go down and read this story, because this really is a good example of what goes on. That these bad cops are running things. Even though the good ones outnumber them, the bad ones are in charge, and they are causing all the problems. And really, this is what my channel's about. This is what probably every other auditor's out there is, exposing these bad cops. We have to get rid of them. They got to go. These bad cops either got to change their ways or they got to go. Let me know what you think in the commentaries. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Gunnison Undercover or Facebook. And you can always reach me at GunnisonUndercover@gmail.com.